Coach Snipes. How you doing, Coach?
What's going on, Coach?
What's up? What's up? What's up? So we just waiting
Well,
on Coach Joe.
Coach Jube, yeah, he probably be in shortly.
Okay, all right. Give him a little minute. Okay.
I'm trying to get this laptop so you can see a little better. Get my lighting.
Yeah. It's a little struggle with that.
I know, man. I
It
should
was,
have did it outside.
it's been raining all day too. So
I know that's because my plan was to do it outside underneath my car, underneath my shed, but it's been raining. I don't want to go out there and then it start raining.
right.
Then I'll be y'all gonna be punch drunk trying to y'all gonna be seeing me move the laptop.
You think Coach Joe remember? Oh,
Yeah,
there.
I just got the phone.
Yeah, there you
I just
go.
got the phone with him.
Okay.
I just got the phone with him. So he there you go. Joe.
All right.
Joe.
How you doing, Coach?
How's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. So, gentlemen, we'll jump, Coach. We'll jump right into it. Allow me to do introductions. Welcome to the Athletes Grind by Five Star Athletics. I'm your host Ray, and our sponsor today is Mr. Ginger Shots. But before we get into that, we definitely want to talk to two of Miami Central High's finest. We got Coach Snipes, offensive coordinator, as well as Coach Jube, defensive coordinator with us today from the Miami Central High Rockets. Thank you guys for joining us. I greatly appreciate it. So, Coach, thank you. So, Coach, let's jump right into it. Coach Joe, if you can tell us some things about yourself, how long you've been coaching, how long you've been around the game, defensive coordinator, just for those, our fans, our followers that don't know of you, that should know of you, just give us a little background about yourself.
I've been coaching for about going on my 10th year. I've been coaching all across the state of Florida. I've primarily been focused on the defensive side of the ball, secondary. First started out at MSP Gabi High School back in, I think, 2011. Won state title 2012, secondary, and then went on over to Miami Springs in Miami, Florida. Coached under Daryl Bethune. Was able to take a team that was 0-10 the year before to the playoffs, broke a 25-year Dade County history record playoff drought. After that, I went over to Tallahassee Lincoln under the Yusef Shakir, well-known coach in Florida. Learned from him as well, mentorship. From there, I went to North Marion, coached under two head coaches, Stephen Field, who's not a tight end coach at University of Miami, and also coached Willie Alford. He coached at Oceanside Prep in South Carolina. He was the head coach, led North Marion to a state title appearance, first state title appearance in school history. And then after that, I made a couple stops, man, but I was at Carroll City for some time. Was able to put my input there, and for the last few years, I've been fortunate enough to return home and come to Miami Central and help lay down the winning foundation, return to the winning foundation of what they've been for the past decade.
Absolutely. So, Coach, as you stated, you've been all around the state of Florida pretty much. So a lot of experience there. And Coach Snipes, I see you trying to get into location right there, so I'll give you a little minute. All right, Coach. So, Coach Snipes, it's on you right now. If you can tell us some things about yourself, for our fans and our followers that don't know of you as of yet, your history, your background in football, offensive coordinator, where you've coached. Give us a little history about yourself, Coach.
I'm Coach Snipes, offensive coordinator at Miami Central Senior High. I've been at Miami Central since 2009. Before then, I was at Miami Northwestern. And before then, I actually started at the park. I was at Bunch Park in Overtown Optimus for a couple of years, head coach and OC over there. And then I came to high school and just kind of, figured it was time to spread out and branch my wings a little further.
Absolutely. And coaches, this question is for both of you. You know, I'm here in Broward County. I'm in the South Florida area as well. But for everyone around the country, we know that the Miami student athletes are just different. They're bred differently. And my question for you guys is, you know, what makes the Miami student athlete, so different from any other athlete in the country? What is it about, you know, growing up in Miami and playing football in Miami that is just has a kid so passionate? I'll give it to you first, Coach Joe.
I'd have to say, just me being a product of this culture, and being able to go across the state of Florida and seeing, I would say it's just the culture that's embedded in you. You're taught the game of football and what it can do for your life at an early age. Let's say 4 years old. We teach the kids, man, to use football, not let football use you. They can use it as a vessel. A lot of times they think, and that's why when we play football in Miami, it's not just a game to us; it's actually a way of life. Because kids aren't just looking at it as a way to go to the NFL, they're looking at it as a way for them to go to school, for them to have opportunity. So the person that they're competing against, they know that they're competing against a person for a limited spot for scholarships and things of that nature. So I guess that's competition and competitive edge is ingrained in our kids from an early age, and they know that they take that with them into life, where not only do they compete academically, but they're gonna have to compete for their jobs and things of that nature. They're gonna know, that they're gonna have to separate themselves from everybody that's going for a goal that they're going for.
Right. Absolutely. And Coach Snipes, I'll let you get in here. You know, we're just talking about what makes the Miami athlete so different from any other student athlete around the country. You know, just the passion and determination that they play with on the field, and the environment that they're brought up in. Just if you could talk a little bit about that, Coach Snipes, and what you've seen from the student athletes coming up under you.
I mean, we basically in Miami. You got to understand this. Like, we play football year round, just about. Like, it's not like where you go up north and they're playing basketball and all that stuff. It's basically year round. Football now has morphed into a 12-month sport, especially in the state of Florida because the weather. I mean, pretty much we could do it year round. And a lot of times you got kids playing since they were 5 and 4 years old.
Right.
I mean, it's the community. The community is the biggest asset that we have in Miami as far as pushing our athletes to be great, because we all have those neighborhood heroes and we always want to be the next great neighborhood hero. Like we say, the neighborhood give you a nickname. So I mean, you always want to please your neighborhood first. Your community, your neighborhood. You get big in your community, your neighborhood. For us in Miami, that's a win.
Right. And Coach, you know, Snipes, if you can talk a little bit more about that. You know, everybody knows that, you know, every team tries to practice as hard as they can just to kind of simulate game conditions. But talk about, you know, your practice, you know, Miami Central Rockets practice, and how hard you guys go, and why you go as hard as you go.
We practice hard because, for one, the standard, like, when you sign up to play football at Miami Central, it's a standard that you got to meet to even play at Miami Central. Like, we believe in that, we teach that, we preach it from day one. You just don't walk in here and just think, oh, okay, I can just give a half an effort. Like, the product is what we stand on. Like, when you walk in Miami Central, when you put that Central name on your chest, that stands for more than anything. Like, you can't cheat it. You can't get around it. You got to understand, you know what you're signing up for. So when you sign up to get the product right, we gotta practice like every day is game day for us. So, you know, I coach offense, and I tell my guys on my side of the ball, I tell the defense, stop on the second whistle. The first whistle just means you close. So if he not finishing the run, or he not trying to score, and I don't believe in, you know, I got to tell kids all the time, you know, you get that old, he holding me, coach. If he holding you, that means you're not running fast enough.
Right.
To me, that's what that means.
Right.
If he's holding you, if he's able to hold your jersey while you running and you not dragging him and pulling him, you're not running fast enough. So for me, I mean, we preach that. We stand on that. That's from day one.
And Coach, you know, to you, you know, Coach Snipes got a high-powered offense, and you got a monster defense. But going against that high-powered offense every day in practice, you know, just talk a little bit about, you know, how you like to have your guys ready to go and going hard in practice just as well as Coach Snipes' offense.
Man, he beat me in practice. He ain't gonna tell you the truth. He gonna be modest. He be kicking my butt in practice.
Hey, coach, tell the truth now, coach. Tell the truth now. The people
He
want to
gonna
hear
be
the truth.
modest, man. They whooped me all spring. I was nervous going into the spring game.
You ain't sneaking up on nobody, Coach Jube. Tell the truth now.
Nah, man, we got a high potent offense, man. Those guys, they give us a challenge every day. If anything, it's a learning thing for me because I mean, AJ probably forgot more football than I actually know. So it's a learning experience every day for us. I do say this, you know, when you play for Central, or you coach at Central, it's a different standard. You can't keep anything close. You can't keep anything in the referee's hand. Because if you do in the game, it's gonna go the other way. So you know, we teach our kids, man. Look, man, we gotta blow everybody out. We gotta beat everybody into submission. We gotta make sure that we don't leave any doubt. Because if there is any doubt, you're gonna miss out on that because you're Miami Central. We embrace being the bad guys, to be honest with you, and that's how we practice. We practice like we can't have any close games. So you know, that's why when we practice, it's a sense of urgency. It's a sense of your head's on fire. There's no laxness going on in our practice. We practice like it's game day, to be honest with you. And that's why when they go into the game, it's so easy. In order to play at Miami Central, you've got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I want to give y'all the opportunity, Coach Snipes and Coach Jube. You know, Coach Jube, you first. You know, if you can talk about some of your other coaches on defense, your DB coach, your linebacker coach, all your other coaches, just tell us a little bit their names and the history, and what they're doing
Uh,
in the program.
okay, well, first and foremost, man, I got to talk about my linebacker coach, Pierre Athens, man. That man's monumental in the Miami Central foundation as far as what he does for the community, what he does for the kids. Everybody on my defense that I coach with, man, we played together in Central, so it's a legacy communal thing for us. He was a linebacker, he was a team captain. I'm just so proud of him and seeing his growth as far as a coach. He coached one of the best linebacker corps, if not the best linebacker corps in the nation last year, which was Terrence Lewis, who was the consensus number one linebacker on Rivals in 24/7. And he had Wesley Bassett, who was consensus number one linebacker in 24/7 as far as 2023, and Rudy Jean Lewis, who was a Division One prospect as well. So he did a great job for me on defense. My other assistant coach that I lean on, man, one of my closest friends, man, Jamal Sheffield, man. Just did a phenomenal job. One of the biggest hires I felt as though when I got the job at Central. That's the first thing I said, I need more specialty line coach that I know. And he's shown within 2 years show you the type of guy he is, type of year on class 6 be on his defensive line 2 consecutive years. So, you know, that just tells you a testament of how great of a coach he is and developing these kids. I've got Tavares Smalls, who's come on this year, the ornamental addition, you know, allowing us to just take a different look at different things in his defense. Coach Admiral August, Hudson Milhome, huge with our community outreach. Coach Darrell Eskers does a great job with our defensive backs. And, you know, but also I'd say, man, Coach Dwight Jackson, man, just always there for us on defense with just always encouraging words and just consistently allowing us to, you know, be who we are as coaches, man. So I got a great staff, and I'm be honest with you, without them, there's no me, you know, because we're brotherhood on that defensive side of the ball. And I'll tell you, if anybody knows that we're a brotherhood, is all of our women, because they see that group chat. That group chat don't stop. It starts from 7 a.m. and they don't stop till 1 a.m. talking balls. So you know what I'm saying? We love one another, man. We go from 7 in the morning coaching high school to 6 o'clock at night, and then they go from 6 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock coaching in the park. So these guys are dedicated to this Rocket brand, man. And I wouldn't want to go through it with anybody else.
Absolutely, absolutely. I appreciate that, coach. And Coach Snipes, you know, you up next. The running back coach, the wide receiver coach. Tell us what you're working with. Tell us why y'all a powerhouse. Let us know.
I mean, I got Tommy Schuler. I mean, Schuler played for me on the 2010 state championship team. He only just went. He left, went to college and led Marshall in receiving. He's the all-time leading receiver at University of Marshall. Came back and decided he wanted to give back and give to the community. So he started coaching with me. He's coaching my receivers. I got Coach Tim Everson, coaches running backs, does a great job teaching my guys how to read the box and get downhill. And we always say, you know, if you play running back at Miami Central, the safety is your guy. We don't block him. That's your man. You gotta make him miss.
Right.
O-line, I got Michael Chop Ross. He been coach. We coached together at Northwestern when we were over there. So I mean, we just came and just put the system back together, put the band back together over here at Central, and we just kept going from there. My quarterback coach is Anthony White. He does a good job on the quarterbacks, and we just kind of keep it moving, man. For us, it's like I said, it's a standard. We all come in. We're a veteran group. We don't spend a lot of time doing a whole lot of extra stuff. We don't try to trick you. We're not gonna come in with 900 formations and 33,000 plays. It's gonna be basic, but we're gonna be great at what we do.
Right. Okay. All right. All right. And Coach, I go back to you, Coach Jube. Speak a little bit about the facility. The field, the weight rooms. For any student athlete coming up out of Little League that want to play for Central, or anybody that want to transfer. To the school, to the football program. Talk a little bit about what the accommodations are at the school for the student athletes.
I mean, well, I'd say this about the accommodations for the school. What happens is, I'm not gonna sit here and say we have state of the art flat screen TVs and turf fields and things of that nature. But what we are reaching is tradition. What we're reaching is tradition. We make good with the things that we have, and obviously our track record. These are effective for us and what we do and what we're doing with our system. You know what I'm saying? We also start as far as like spring practice, we do recording practice and things of that nature because we knew that college coaches weren't going to be able to come out there. So what we were able to do is instead of being able to have college coaches come out, we were sending them out to college coaches clips of practice and things of that nature. So I would say this for me, the facilities that they've actually have out there at Miami Central are effective because at the end of the day, you're gonna get it out the mud. It ain't no cutting no corner.
Absolutely. That sounds like that old Miami Hurricane model when they didn't have the best of facilities. So I definitely understand where you're coming from. And Coach Snipes, to you, that Coach Jube has answered that. What type of off the field programs that are you guys involved in with the student athletes? You guys are going out of the state quite often, playing big time national ranked teams. But off the field, what type of other programs do you guys have for the student athletes?
I mean, we do a lot of stuff. Like most of our kids, we make them take an SAT, ACT prep class. So I mean, we don't start. We one of the few programs in Dade County that don't start practice till 4:00, even though the kids get out at 2:20, because from 2:30 to 3:40, our kids are in study hall. So we run it like a collegiate program. Like it's always something you could do. In the summertime, we use our student athletes to give back in the community. If it's just going around and helping the local schools, the elementaries, the middle schools who understaffed, we'll pull the furniture out, and so the custodians could wax and mop the floors. We connect the computers back because I'm an IT guy, so I always figured if a kid could learn what I went to school for 5 years for. If I can give it to you for free,
right,
in high school, it might lead to you wanting to do this for a career, as well. We make our kids. We got a lot of kids that go back at the parks. Like I got a lineman right now. Mike, he just took his junior coaches certification to coach back at the Optimus program.
Okay.
So I mean, we do a lot of little stuff like as far as that and mentoring kids. We just believe in making it better. We want to leave it better than what we found it. That's the main thing. And that's what we preach to our kids. Like, leave everything better than what you find. If you do that, then you'll be productive in society. No matter what you do, you take that approach to life. You can't go wrong. Anything you touch, just leave it better than what you found it, and you can't go wrong doing that.
Absolutely. And a lot of these student athletes, they lead a program and they go on to be successful and coming back to the community and also investing in the community with your time, your money, your whatever, your IT experience, whatever it may be, is really important to continue the tradition at Miami Central. So I definitely understand that, Coach. And Coach Snipes, your offense has put up a lot of points, some big numbers over the years, and just the players that have come through. Talk about the ability to make the in-game adjustments and overall preparation leading up to the game. Talk a little bit about that and what you guys do to get ready for the opponent, to put up those big time numbers.
I mean, we basically we meet on Sundays and we break down film a lot, and it's a lot of film study and tendencies and just certain things we do. We gonna stick to our guns, and we gonna make sure, like I said, we gonna do it simple, but we gonna do it well. A lot of times I lean on my defensive staff because they see stuff from a defensive point of view. Like a lot of people don't do that. Like a lot of OCs are too prideful and stubborn to ask the guys with the same color polo that they have on. Hey, coach, man, they doing some funky stuff on the back end with this coverage. Look at it and tell me what they got going on. And they'll be able to give it to me, but they're going to give it to me in my terminology, which is 80% of what you need to know. So now you know how to make your adjustments. Like I'll lean on Coach Jube in a minute. Like I'll draw a formation and be like, hey, Jube, what would be the adjustment? And he'll be like, yeah, coach, they're going to have to move this guy based on their front, this, and this, da, da, da. From there, and the in-game adjustment, I already got your in-game adjustments. I already got them because I feel like I got the best staff in the country. So if you fool me, you can't fool them because they defensive guys. So a lot of times they understand and they'll say, oh, coach, yeah, man, he playing the odd front. He just playing games with apex backers or whatever. Just, if you do this, it's going to give him a problem. Oh, okay, cool. From that, I got 500 different things I could do to you. So, I mean, the one thing I learned about being an OC is you can take advice from everybody, but don't lose your identity. So, I mean, my thing is I lean on my defensive staff if I get confused, I ask them, hey, coach, look at it and tell me what they're doing. They slant to the back, they slant to the field. They pick up on it 5 times faster than I probably would because they understand the defense side of it, the defensive aspect. So I'm never too prideful to lean on. And then, these guys got these young minds, man. They brilliant. The football that they playing now, we didn't play when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
We was 2 back, maybe 2 tight end, and it was downhill, cloud of dust. We might throw 12 passes a game.
Right.
Now the game wide open. So, I mean, what they learn in college and stuff, that's how you stay relevant. You get your young guys to come back and they tell you what they learned in college, and you just keep morphing into what you needed to be.
Right. And Coach Jube, jump in on that. We talked about the offense being high powered and putting up a lot of points, and you got several shutouts over the years. But what kind of adjustments do you make when the offense is scoring so quickly, and then your defense is back out on the field trying to get that stop? So how does that play out on your end of the ball?
Just to piggyback on what AJ said, I mean, a lot of people don't know, contrary to popular belief. Me and AJ spent a lot of time on the phone as far as, just throwing notes at each other or throwing ideas and brainstorming and things of that nature as far as, offense and defense. Because football is football. So, I got a great staff as far as adjustments, but also, man, I look at AJ, and if I have an issue with an offense or so, I'll talk to AJ like, yeah, what you think? Like, what's going on? What do you see? Because I mean, AJ, he comes to my meetings. You know what I'm saying? Where and there's no secret. Some coordinators, they're against each other, man. Me and AJ, both our colors are green and white. At the end of the day, we're trying to win. So if there's something that you see that I miss, or there's something that you see that you'll exploit, and you'll put me up on game before I get it done, all right, cool. The same thing goes with me. We don't have any egos when it comes to that. And I think that's why. In-game adjustments are simple and easy to us because, maybe all week, we were planning for this, but guess what? That's not working. So guess what? We're throwing it out the window. We're going to do what's going to work, And our kids take to that as well. Our kids understand that. They understand that this is the plan, but in life, sometimes the plan is not what happens, and you got to adjust. And you can't cry with spilled milk. You got to wipe it up and let's keep going.
Yeah. And Coach Jude, sticking on that right there, Coach Snipes talked about the film study and your side of the ball as well. You talk about the in-game adjustments, but from week to week adjustments, looking at the film, seeing was done last week, things of that nature. So what do you try to get across to the student athletes when they watch the film? Teach them how to watch the film, how to break down. How does that go?
The thing about it is, coming into high school, man, a lot of guys talk about film, but a lot of kids don't know how to watch film.
Right.
They're watching film to look at highlights and look at touchdowns. They're not looking intentionally to get tendencies and get things excuse me, that you're actually going to assist them in the game. So my job is just like it's being a teacher. Because I tell my assistant coaches that, like, I don't want a coach, I want a teacher. I want you to be able to teach your kids, what they're supposed to be looking for, what they're supposed to be doing. Because at the end of the day, some of the best coordinators or coaches started out at teaching. Jeremy Pruitt, a former head coach at Tennessee, former Alabama DC, used to teach kindergarten. So if you can teach kindergarten and you can teach first grade and second grade, things of that nature, some key elements to the youngest kids. That means you can break things down in simplified versions of it. So that's what I do with film is I really break things down to simplified versions. My kids barely ever get the whole film and just watch it. You know what I'm saying? There are increments where they can actually look at film and understand what they're supposed to do. But I'll be honest with you, we go in depth when it comes to our scouting. Man, our kids probably know your first name, your last name, your nickname, what you have for lunch, how you're feeling, your Twitter handle. We know everything about you before you actually even do it. And that goes to a testament to our kids and how we survey them. And because I'll go in practice and I'll read off your film log as far as how much time you did on film this week. Mm-hmm. Are you dedicated to playing or not? That's the type of accountability that I have within my kids. But then once my kids start seeing the preparation, because like I said before, our separation is in our preparation because we prepare, and sometimes it's like they know the play. They do know the play because they studied it, they've seen it, they've digested it, they've internalized it, and that's what they've seen that's going to make them. And they know when they know something, they know that's going to have, it's going to make the game even easier for them, and they're going to respond quicker. And they see the power of that, and that's one of the joys I get out of coaching is self-discovery. Self-discovery. As a teacher, you try to teach that to the students. Like, I'm not the answer. I'm the guide to the answer. You get what I'm saying? And that's the thing I give the kids as a coach is like, listen, I'm not going to tell you every play or what to do. It's up to you to empower yourself with the tools that I give you and the resources that I give you for you to empower yourself, for you to be dedicated, and you be a winner. Because I coach to the kids' capacity, not their capability. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and coach, I'm glad you said that. The separation is in the preparation because a lot of people, around the country look and say, "Oh man, they got the best athletes down in Miami," but they're not looking at the preparation that you put in. So go ahead, coach.
And that couldn't be further from the truth because I've coached in North Florida where these guys are. You don't be honest with you. There's genius in simplicity. And I'm going to just be real with you. A lot of times these coaches, they get in their way with their egos because they want to be the sharpest pencil in the box. They want to have the best marker on the board. Listen, if X is better than O, let X run past O. You ain't got to make it up. You're not out there playing. Stop trying to live vicariously through these kids. Your days of playing are over. Stop trying. There's been times the guys say, man, Keith Brown just made a great interception. Did you call that play? And I look at, hell no, I didn't. That kid's just amazing.
Right.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with, hey, kid, do what you do. And that's okay. But see, the problem is, it's a lot of coaches out here who want to take pride in that and say, oh, no, he wouldn't have did that if it wasn't. Listen, man, we're here to coach the game. We're here to mold young men into being functional adults into society. Football is just a byproduct of what we're actually trying to do.
Right.
So once we get past that, and I'm okay with, oh, man, guys down south have super athletes. We do, but we're actually coaching as well. We're preparing them as well. Because at the end of the day, listen, yeah, they can call their own plays, but who drew the play up for them to call? Okay, they know what situations to run well. I tell my kids that all the time, especially on walkthrough. I don't even got to come to walkthrough. Y'all know what to do.
Right.
You guys are a factory. Meaning, once I press power, that conveyor belt's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. It doesn't need me to sit up there and micromanage. If I got to micromanage you, if I got to helicopter you, you can't play food.
Yeah. And Coach Snipes, jumping out a little bit, you had a great season last year. Another championship and a hell of an offense that you have. What are you looking for out of the QB position specifically to ensure that the offense continues to run smoothly?
I'm always looking for the cerebral guy. A guy that can think. Like, you can have a lot of athletes, but at that position, if you get an athlete, then the athlete will revert back to his athletic ability more than stay in the system. So I'll take an athlete. Now, don't get me wrong, but as long as he's cerebral also. Like, I don't want an athlete that just run around back there. I need the guy because my offense I'm never in a bad play as long as I got a cerebral quarterback. My quarterback calls the protection. He calls everything. Like, I don't think people realize I got a 16 or 15-year-old back there calling protection. You got guys in on the next level that can't do that.
Yeah.
He make all the adjustments. If you start blitzing me, he'll get me out of he'll turn the protection to pick up the blitz. So, and if he gets confused, then I got calls that I can bail him out. But for the most part, I just need that cerebral guy that stays in the system and understands what we're trying to do. I mean, my quarterback preparation is a headache because he gets tested constantly. You know, we prepare for every front. It's not, you might just be a 40 team, but I'm preparing if you get out there 40 and jump into an odd front that I can block that too. So that's how we prepare. Nothing like Coach Jube say, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Nothing surprises us.
Right. And coach, you know, talk a little bit about, you know, the players. You know, maybe you want to say some names, maybe not. I'm not sure, but you know, who do we need to be on the lookout for? Some rising juniors, you know, some upcoming seniors that we need to be on the lookout for. Who in your estimate it's in the Miami Central program that we need to be on the lookout for this upcoming season?
You know what I'll do? I'll throw a little curveball at you. You know, I'll let AJ speak on the defense, and I'll speak on the offense.
Okay. All
I'll
right. Okay.
say a guy that I look forward to seeing uh, continue to shine in the light is Kewan Jenkins, our signal caller. You know, because a lot of doubts was about this kid coming into Central, whether or not he had the strong enough arm, whether or not he was cerebral. You know what I'm saying? And he showed last year, as the year progressed, he showed last year that he is the top-notch signal caller in South Florida. Another kid that I want to give a shout out to on the offense is a Trent Henry. A Trent Henry who's looking who was more so a role player last year, but he's looking to be that guy, one of the key targets to pick up where Keith Brown and Robert McMinn left off. And another kid, this is a new kid that we got, man. Look out for this name, Terrence Hicks. We call him Blue. We call him Blue. And I'm gonna tell you, he embodies his nickname because if you're from South Florida and you know when you take a defensive back deep and trash power, the whole crowd yells that right there, and he embodies that right there, which is Blue. So you'll be hearing a lot about him. Another name that I go with is a Zaylen Reese and Lamar Seymour. That whole receiving core, I'm ready to see them shine. They had a terrific spring. AJ talks about how I was whooping his behind all spring. Yeah, it's because he wanted to run the ball. When he threw the ball, he threw it at will because we had some adjustments to do, but that whole receiving core, they're elite, and they all work cohesively. To the point where so bad, I was like this. I told my DBs, if I wasn't the DC, I'd find myself right now the way these receivers got us looking. And I can't say enough about the O line. And it sounds like I'm going on and on, but I'm gonna be honest with you. This offense is loaded, and they're looking at it like, yo, y'all lost Amari Daniels, y'all lost Keith Brown, y'all lost Flash. Man, how y'all gonna bounce back from that? And it's like the same way we bounced back from losing record-setting running backs the year before. You know what I'm saying? It's not a rebuild. It's always a reload. That's why I say it's a factory. When you look at Nike, right, and they put that Nike Air Dunk shoe on the conveyor belt, and it's going and it falls off, the same product is going to follow. And if that product falls off, the same exact product, quality and all, is going to follow. So we have AJ at the helm. We got Chalk there, Chalk Ross. We got Shoe. We got Anthony White. We got Coach Everson Coach. The product on offense is going to be stellar, and I can't wait to see these kids shine in that light that they work so hard to be in. That offensive line, Daughtry Richardson, like by itself, Daughtry Richardson, Jason was saying, we got big coach. It's gonna be a show. And what's really scary is usually, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Jay's on the show. Usually, people give us the stigma. Central don't get rolling until late. Okay, we'll wear that. Yeah. But guess what? Not this year. Because we're about to hit the ground rolling. I know you see me, Coach. I'm gonna tell you something, Coach. I know you see me right here. I was supposed to be home, but I still have it to my Uber. I just got up from the airport. I stopped what I was doing because Practice starts Monday, so I had to be in place
Right.
because we know we got less than 70 days to get ready for St. John Bosco, and we're not gonna use this excuse of since we're gonna get started rolling week 6. No, we get ready. We rolling week 0.
Ready to go. Absolutely. And Coach Snipes, he spoke highly of your offense. I don't know how you match that, but well, what you got to say about his defense? What we need to look out for? Who we need to look out for?
Well, first of all, everybody know the two big names because they probably gonna be number one. They probably gonna be the top prospects in their class at their position. You got Wesley Basaint. Wesley gonna be the top linebacker. Probably at the end of the year, he'll probably be the number one linebacker in the country at his position. Then you got Ruben Bain, who, of course, he's a junior. And when you pick up an offer from Nick Saban as a junior, you got to know you dominate your class. Outside of that, we got a kid that was by far the surprise of the spring with Dante Hunt. Like we moved his position from linebacker to defensive end, and this is why we say at Central it's a standard because the kid didn't complain. He could have said, "Nah, coach, I'm a linebacker." Guess what he said, "Coach, if I can help the team right here, I play it." Kid didn't look back, and honestly, he probably was MVP of the spring because we couldn't block him all spring, and I was like, "All right, coach." I had to tell him to take his helmet off one day in practice to make sure I knew who he was. I was like, y'all snuck somebody else in on me. We got him. We got some returning guys that I think is gonna be stellar as far as Sean Smoke and Solomon, and we got a couple guys. It's gonna be it's like Coach said, it's gonna be a movie, man. They got some studs over there, and we doing some in-house cleaning up too. So we got a couple of guys that's probably gonna show up on the roster that people gonna be like, well, wait, where he came from? So I mean, we got a couple of guys. We gonna say that though, because a lot of people get in their feelings, right now. So we can't let all the cat out the bag.
Right. I don't want you to, Coach. I don't want you to. So, and I just got just two more, and I get y'all out of here. Definitely with y'all traveling all over the country and everything. A lot of people don't like to talk about it, but it takes money to do that. It absolutely takes money to do that. So, for the community, the fans, the followers around the country. That love to see Central football, how can they support the program financially? Who can they reach out to make any type of donations or anything like that? Who can they reach out to? Any IG tags or DMs or Twitter? How can they reach out to someone?
Right now, we in process of a transition because our AD, we just lost our AD, we just lost our principal. Like that's another thing. When you go to Miami Central, pretty much if you can survive here, you can survive anywhere.
Right.
So our AD is moving to Port St. Lucie, Mr. Barnwell. Our principal became a regional director. So I mean, we guys are elevating in this program. So we in transition right now as far as trying to get the next group of administrators and but if they want to make a donation, I would say go to the school with a letter or send it to the school, Miami Central Senior High, with a letter. If you got a check or whatever, and you send it with a letter saying this is for Miami Central football program, and you specify how you want the money to be used.
Right.
And with that documentation, you keep a letter and keep a copy of your check. With that documentation, we only can use the money as you specified in the letter. Correct. So if you say, you know what, I want to feed the team with this money, if I want to do this with this money, I mean, that's the thing. Like being an inner city school, I don't think people realize the exposure we giving kids just to be able to travel, because most of these kids never even travel past Orlando. Like for them, Orlando was the end of the world. And now we're giving them national exposure. We take them out of town, we put them on planes. You had kids that never even flew on a plane before. So, I mean, this is big when you're talking about athletes that's going to go to the next level and play collegiate football.
Right.
The one thing I know about inner city kids, like, and I tell you this because I've lived it and I've experienced it being a coach now for over 20 plus years in the inner city. I know kids that left our program and never slept in their own bed until they got in college. they shared a bed with their little brothers or little sisters. I mean, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to show them a different world. Like, it's just, the world is so big, but we get caught up into what we know and what we see every day. So the exposure we try to give kids to different things, different food, different cultures, because every time we go out of town, whether people know it or not, we always do something educational. It's never just football.
Mm-hmm.
We went to DC. We took the kids to go see the monuments. We took them to the African American history museum. Like, we never just do football. That is always some kind of educational component to it. So I mean, I don't think people realize how much work and planning that takes, because you can plan for a football game,
Right.
but then imagine trying to plan something academic for 85 kids that will keep their attention too and not lose their focus on the football game.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So it's for the fans and the followers out there that want to make a donation. It's imperative that you ensure that you put specifically how you want the money to be used for the program. Definitely, the inner city school can definitely use those funds as they travel across the country to keep smacking on people. So definitely look out for the Miami Central program. And I'll get you guys out on this. Coach Drew, is there anything you would like to say? Any shout outs you would like to give? On behalf of yourself and the Miami Central High program.
Just I'll be honest with you, I just shout out to my head coach, Roland Smith, the legend. Just taking a shot on me, give me the platform to go into kids. To be honest, like this is my dream job. I can recall always using Central as a model, being out of town of what I want my kids to play like. You know what I'm saying? Or I can recall watching AJ Snipes offense and being intrigued and being like, "Whoa, I would hate to go against that." You know what I'm saying? Like, and so for me, every day I show up to work, it's not work, man. It's a passion of mine. I love it. I love it here. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to thank Roland Smith for and my boy Sabby Joseph for calling me to come on to be a part of this Central program, man, the Central family. Because every day it's like I'm living a dream. Every time I get a chance to put that green and white on and go to war for my neighborhood.
Right.
Because that's what it is essentially. It's a neighborhood thing. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate the opportunity to be amongst the best. And I learned so much. A lot of times I tell our kids about that too. Like, yo, man, listen to the older people. Listen to the guys that's been here before you. Listen to the guys, because at the end of the day, they're telling you from experience. You know what I'm saying? And so I've always been that type of guy, being a blank canvas, and just allowing experiences and lessons to teach me. And these guys are on like their 8th, 9th rings. And shoot, I'm just a young whippersnapper in the game. So I'm like a fly on the wall. I love it. They might think I don't, but I love it. I let them tell their old Western stories and their old war stories over and over and over again, because I just love to hear it. Because at the end of the day, I learn. Every time they tell the same story, it's like a new part to the story. So I learn something every time. And I just feel blessed and highly favored to be in this opportunity to be able to just learn, man. Just learn, because make no mistake about it. Every time I get on the phone or I talk to one of them, they're always blessing me with some type of information, and I love it.
Absolutely. And Coach Snipes, I'll throw it over to you. Any shout outs you want to give on behalf of yourself and the Miami Central High program?
I mean, like Coach Jube said, we want to give a shout out to the head coach Roland Smith. I would be cutting him slight if I didn't give him his props. Right. It was also a guy by the name of Telly Lockett. He's the running back and run game coordinator at University of Marshall. He called me. Well, we've been together since we were little tykes playing at the park. We played Artemis football. We were 6 years old. He got the OC job in Northwestern. He called me and said, "Hey man, I need you to make this run with me." He brought me over to Northwestern, and then when we came to Central, he was the head coach. And we made this run. We made this we put this historic program in place. Right now today, he's like a mentor for me. If it's something I need to ask as far as run game go, he'll draw it up, send it to me. I'll be more than another guy I need to give a shout out to would be Jerry Clay and Mr. Gregory Bethune, the administrators that when we came to Miami Central, these guys were tremendous. Like they allowed us to coach this program the way we saw fit. You know, they guided us along the way, but they never imposed their will as far as, oh, you know, this kid should be playing. Because I mean, Mr. Bethune had his kids playing on the team, and he wouldn't even come back there to practice. He'd be like, Coach, whatever y'all do with them, that's on them.
Yeah.
You know, how many principals do that? Like, they trust you with their kids enough to say, Coach, you got them. You know, that to me, that means a lot when your administrator trusts you with their own biological child. You know, and last but not least, again, man, I want to give a shout out to Dwight Jackson. He's like the backbone to this program. He does so many things behind the scenes that people couldn't even imagine. Like it goes beyond football. It can be just, even if you just need that sounding board to bounce some ideas off, and that wisdom and that guidance to give you. And even when even if it's just your home life, you know, because we in the field where divorce is the highest rate in our field, like amongst coaches.
Yeah.
So when you got somebody that could tell you, hey man, you need to go home, that's enough. Put that ball down, put the remote down. You need to go, put the pen down, go home, man, spend some time with your family. Right. You know, you need that sometimes. You know, and you know it's coming from a place of love. So you know that when you on the sideline and you like, man, we can't get a call tonight, and he looked down there and say, Coach, you done got out of way more stuff harder than this. You got it. Let's go. Put your feet on the ground, lace up your boots. Let's go. You need that sometimes. You need that. You need that little push. And he's always been there. And I speak for all the coaches. You know, he does that to every single coach. You know, he starts off our practice with morning inspiration for the kids. You know, he ends practice for us with a prayer and devotion. Every meal, he starts off with, you know, he blesses the food. Like, he does all those little intangibles that you couldn't pay somebody else to do.
Right.
And that means more than anything. You know, he's also that guy, that voice when you got a kid that's straddling the fence. You know, because he does mortuary work for a living. You know, he could tell a kid, don't end up on my table. And it means it means so much more coming from his mouth than from mine. You know, and a lot of kids straighten up after he talked to them. And because that's the power of the tongue. Like, you know, some people just got that gift where when they say stuff, they speak it in existence. And he's been blessed, he's been anointed to do that.
Absolutely. And Coach Snipes and Coach Jube, I want to give a shout out to y'all. You know, everything you're doing for the Miami Central High program, as well as for the student athletes there. You know, a lot of the stuff that you guys do, like you spoke about, kind of goes under the radar, but we definitely appreciate you guys coming on and kind of giving some insight from the offensive and defensive side, you know, and we definitely look forward to talking to you guys again during the season, hopefully, as you guys try to repeat again for a state championship. So all the best on the season, coaches. Greatly appreciate y'all joining us here on the Athletes Grind podcast by 5 Star Athletics. And go Rockets. Take care, guys.
All right.
All right, brother.
All right, Coach.